Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today with a news update for the Outer Worlds. We have the latest patch arriving very soon. All the patch notes are here right in front of me, and one of the things that this patch addresses is one of my biggest pet peeves with the title. Anyway, this patch is another one on the road to that inevitable DLC that will be landing on the Outer Worlds. I still believe it's happening. I'm hoping at the Game Awards this week we do get an announcement for the Outer Worlds DLC, because when you think about it, last year, that's where the Outer Worlds was announced. So 1 year later, we can go ahead, have a nice reunion, and announce that dang DLC, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. But for now, let's get into the patch notes, which I will have linked in the description down below. All this information comes from Obsidian's official forums. Greetings, fellow spacers. We would like to thank you all for the continued feedback and reports for the Outer Worlds. We have been hard at work doing as much as we can to help improve your gaming experience, and as such, we are preparing to release patch 1.2 to everyone as early as next week, which is this week, for all platforms. There will be a lot going into the game with this patch, but for now, we wanted to highlight a few of the changes / fixes being applied to the game when this patch goes live. So now let's highlight the top community requests that are being addressed. Updated the large text mode setting to apply to examinables. That's a tough word to say. Updated the large text mode setting to apply to examinables. Added chromatic aberration settings to all platforms. Added controller aiming sensitivity to all platforms, which I really like. Added head bobbing setting to all platforms. This was something that was an issue actually with Greedfall. People hated the head bobbing in that game, even though it was a third-person title. It's something with head bobbing. I don't know why that's not a staple in pretty much any video game now to remove or leave it on. Added field of view settings to the Xbox and PlayStation 4 platforms. Yet another huge one that needs to be there for all first-person shooters moving forward. Fixed weapons unholstering when interacting with the environment. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the patch. This is the best patch to hit the game so far. It's only a second one, but it is so damn good. Holy smokes, the amount of times I've pressed the square button to pick something up, to open a door, and my weapon came out instead. Oh my god. Please, just thank you, Obsidian. Thank you for fixing this. It got on my last nerve. And last, but certainly not least, fixed additional cases of companion quests being marked as botched incorrectly, which, you know, it's a pretty big deal. So these are the top requests. I've seen quite a bit of them. Most certainly field of view, weapon unholstering, and head bobbing, as well as the controller sensitivity. So as expected, Obsidian has their ears on the ground. They're listening closely to their community, and they are responding in such. A lot of companies could learn about that. Now, those aren't the only fixes. While those are the top fixes, there is plenty more, so let's go through the additional changes / fixes. We have fixed audio cutting out when scrolling on the map. Added a notification for when companions gain perks from quests. I think this is something that should have been there from the start. Fixed companions calling the player's attacks ineffective even if they were dealing appropriate damage. Fixed the prismatic hammer from not benefiting from several melee skills and perks. Fixed the prismatic hammer from not benefiting from critical hits. Increased damage of handguns. So there you go, for everyone using handguns, your build is a little more viable now. Fixed pack mule perks not applying when on the unreliable. Fixed Dr. Chartrand attacking the player after she agrees to help them. That'd be the most jarring thing if you went through that. Fixed the look up and look down key bindings being swapped. Added foliage graphics settings for the PC platform, so that's great. More optimization, more options for the players. Added enable cinematic kill camera setting, another really big one. If you guys recall, back in August, during my preview for the Outer Worlds, I said that the cinematic kills for companions and for yourself were solid, but A, they could be buggy like New Vegas, and B, they got pretty redundant very quickly in a 2-hour play session, and now with the full game in our hands, it seems like that was pretty prevalent for everybody. So having that be able to turn on and off, another great option. It's good to hear that they're listening and not just saying, well, we think it's cool, so screw you guys. Let's finish up this list. Updated vendor UI to show carry weight and encumbrance limit. That's great. Updated item tool tips to better indicate pristine items. Very good, because sometimes the background I would miss personally and not notice that. Added item sorting options to the companion and workbench screens. Very helpful. And added supernova survival meters to the consumable screen. screens, which is also very important. I'm in the middle of a Supernova playthrough. We are excited to get this out to everyone, and we will have a full list of all the fixes posted when patch 1.2 is live, so do know that there are more coming on the way. It's just that these are the main ones that they wanted to mention in writing. To continue to report issues you come across and to share suggestions for the game, please visit the technical support forums for the Outer Worlds and search to see if a fellow player has already made a thread about it to help reduce duplicate threads. If you find a thread that matches your issue or suggestion, then please feel free to leave a comment and include any details you would like to share. So that's for all of you out there who are maybe hoping to add a little bit to what Obsidian could fix with the Outer Worlds. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just submit mine because yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's a bunch of fixes when it comes to settings and options for the players. The only real gameplay change here is the increase of damage for the handguns, but there are a lot of options that are going to make the game more enjoyable to play, like being able to read certain bits of the text, changing the field of view, removing or keeping the head bobbing. Of course, the kill camera is another big one, updating the UI. This patch is actually a lot more significant than the first one across the board, but I see stuff being addressed that I've seen a wide range of comments covering, so it's good to see Obsidian's getting on top of it. For those who are worried about DLC in all seriousness, I believe that we don't have the full Outer Worlds team working on these patches, which is why they've sort of slowly rolled them out. Also, the full game was pretty polished, so I don't think they needed to necessarily rush that out the door. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the future of the Outer Worlds. Fingers crossed, man. Game Awards coming really soon. This could be the very big week. We have yet to see Obsidian announce if they're going to be at the Game Awards, but that's the platform I'd imagine they would announce DLC for. I mean, we have the Switch version coming as late as the end of March, so sometime soon they gotta announce it to ramp it up while also realistically being in a time period where people are aware of the Outer Worlds, they're still talking about it, and I think that conversation has to happen in 2019. Look, I love the Outer Worlds, but with how big 2020 is going to be, especially early on, I think it would be in Obsidian's best interest to start talking about DLC sooner rather than later. And I'm sure they're not oblivious to this. It's just a matter of making sure all their ducks are in a row. But anyway, I have not personally heard any inside info on the DLC. As soon as I do, you guys know, I would share it with you all. That'll conclude today's video though. An update for the Outer Worlds is incoming this week. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the patch in the comments down below. Do you like what's been added here? What do you think Obsidian should fix? Be sure to fire away all of that in the comments because they are indeed listening. And when do you think we're going to be getting DLC? Because it's got to be happening. Let me know. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. Big thank you to all the patrons for giving me all those e-hugs constantly. I appreciate all of you and I'm hugging you back. Along with my Patreon, do consider supporting that as it fuels all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.